Alright, welcome back Twitch, welcome back YouTube. Let's get back to just another game, Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair. And hello to Hope's Peak Academy. Man, this feels kind of nostalgic. Kind of nostalgic and really happy to be back here in kind of a fucked up way. Huh? That's weird. This is the hallway I walked through to get to the gymnasium, but it's clearly different. Is this Monokuma's doing too? Is he trying to confuse us again? I don't know how he's doing it, but he keeps doing it over and over again. He's so persistent. But I'm not gonna fall for his trap. There's no way this will make me back down. Alright, before we go anywhere, let's check on pets, even though it's kind of meaningless. Just kind of want to get an idea. Sonya, you're growing extra legs. Just kind of want to get an idea how many steps there would be. And this is what I mean when I say last episode, if you miss a Monokuma in this chapter, it's pretty much gone for good. There's a couple areas you can wander around with freely, but I just wouldn't take the risk and I would get the Monokuma as soon as you can. This hallway, there is a strange feeling to it, no? As if an invisible wall has been erected to limit our movement.
I am concerned.
Is it just me? Yeah, just you. Everything looks normal to me, I guess. Alright. Pretty much any door that's yellow, you're probably gonna visit again, but you have to visit them in the right order. And again, this is another area where there is weird collision all over the place. You just kind of have to deal with it. I wonder if the map will help. There is no map. I thought there was a map. I thought there was at least a mini-map. Oh well. Hey, here's the door we can go into. The dojo. This is definitely not blatantly reusing assets from the first game. Definitely not. I don't know why you would even think that. Is this a dojo? It's full of strange things that make me think there's no way we're inside a school. Perhaps it's a mistake to expect the inside of this building makes sense. Boy, you don't got any idea how right you are. This never made sense even when it was normal. Book! What is this? Is this a manga? The title is Manga for Morons! A History of Hope's Peak Academy by Monokuma. Why does it have a pretty anime girl in a box? Okay, whatever. Why is a manga with such a suspicious looking title laying out in the open like this? Let's start with history first, class.
Hey,
Reading manga is the third best way to learn about history. Then what's the first, you ask? That depends on the person. So, just as I thought, Monokuma made this. That totally explains how sus it looks. I really want to just ignore it, but there's no way I can do that. Fine, I'll look at it. I'll look at anything that might be a clue to getting out of here, no matter what it is. I picked up the manga off the floor and started flipping through the pages. It's an introduction to Hope's Peak Academy's history as narrated by the cutesy character on the cover. The story begins with an introduction to Hope's Peak Academy. Hope's Peak Academy is a government-funded school of privilege where only the most talented high school students can hope to attend. Built to raise hope in the nation's future, many of its alumni are key leaders of various industries. New students are chosen through a scouting process, but the ones who scout them are Hope's Peak Academy's teachers, who serve as both educators and researchers of talent. Hope's Peak Academy isn't just a school for talent, it's also a school for researching talent as well. However, for the past few years, Hope's Peak Academy has been suffering from a decline in funding. If this persists, the Academy believes they will not be able to make progress with their research of talent. So they decided to implement a new system. The Reserve Department. Unlike the main department who scouts for students, the Reserve Department utilizes a general entrance exam. Normal faculty is hired and placed, or was hired and placed in charge of looking after the Reserve Department. The expenses and exam fees for the reserve department are quite high compared to most high schools. Nevertheless, Hope's Peak Academy received an endless stream of applicants. Hope's Peak Academy was now available to talentless commoners, people who only cared about the brand. With this, Hope's Peak Academy managed to amass sizable funds and began further research of talent. To create Hope's Peak Academy's earnest wish, a true genius who would become mankind's hope. But just when they thought everything was going well, an unprecedented incident occurred. The incident that triggered the tragedy, the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. That's right, it was the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy. Hope's Peak Academy was crippled by this incident and was forced to shut down without accomplishing anything. The end. Huh? The ending was so sudden, like a manga that was cancelled in the middle of its run. Dude! I feel that. When he said that, I felt that. There was a manga called Beat the Vandal Buster years and years and years ago, and God, I loved it. But I believe that it shut down because the mangaka got sick, and they tried to start it back up again a couple of years ago. They did like a few more chapters, but then I think he died. He either got sick again or he died. I forget which, but either way, he wasn't able to continue writing and they just dropped it. And it looked like it was going to be really good. Made me so mad. I mean, I was sad for him, but I wish someone had picked it up. Plus, these phrases mentioned at the end of this manga. The tragedy and the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy. These names are so melodramatic, there's no way these incidents really happened, right? This manga only mentions the names, so I don't really know the details, but it'd just be a waste of time to wonder about things that don't make sense. More importantly, I learned something because of this manga. The Reserve Department. That department was only built to collect money. I was one of those Reserve Corps students, right?
But hold on.
That's weird. Oh, you're here again. The thing that's weird is you, of course. Huh?
Hey!
Why did you forget that you were a part of the Reserve Department? The Future Foundation only took away your school life memories, right? But you should have known even before you entered that you had no talent, right? So I think it's weird that you actually forgot something like that, too. What do you want me to say?
By the way...
Based on my assumption, the Future Foundation must have wanted to hide the fact that you were one of those Reserve Corps students.
I got it!
Or you willingly sealed those memories yourself. Huh? You wanted to be confident in yourself, so you wanted to forget everything that embarrassed you. You know, when humans experience trauma, sometimes they erase their memories of what happened. Yeah, that kind of hits home a little bit. I don't want to get into it now, but I understand that. It happens pretty often. Not that I know anything about that, though. Are you saying it's my fault I forgot? That's not it.
Come on!
When things get inconvenient, you always get angry and try to brush it off. Well, that's expected of a Reserve Corps student. Damn it, what the heck? And these are gonna be our truth bullets, because if you thought we were done with trials, you're wrong. But there's no Monokuma here, so we can leave the dojo safely. Some rooms I believe will seal up behind you, but usually when this is actually kind of a guided process. Rooms will not open up until you finish the proper steps, so you kind of find yourself going in room after room after room, and I thought there was a way to bring up a mini-map. Let's check. At least on an overlay. That would help. That's options, transcript load, blah blah blah. Pet regulations, report card presence, truth bullets, whatever. Alright, that's still sealed, so we can't go in there. Pretty much any door that you see that's yellow is a door you will be able to go into at some point. Ah, this one's unsealed. Classroom 5A. There's another manga, and there is no Monokuma in here. So we'll just read the manga. This is another manga. It's lying on top of the desk. This one is Manga for Morons, The Tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy, huh? Wasn't the Tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy mentioned in another manga too? That's why Hope's Peak Academy went bankrupt, and it was the trigger for the blah blah blah. If I read this manga, will I be able to learn a little more about that incident? Hello, Duchess Rain. Oh good, we're 2% of the way there. I am so excited. I took the manga from the desk and started flipping through the pages to see what I could learn about the event known as the Tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy. I am so excited for this. I can't wait. You don't even know. You can blame Nick for this. The story made heavy use of outdated stylized drawings depicting characters solving mysteries. Zoink, Scoob. What's written here is, as the name suggests, the Tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy occurred at Hope's Peak Academy. The key player in that event was a student named Izuru Kamakura. Izuru was a genius known as a symbol of hope. Hope's Peak Academy used all the resources to develop him. Supposedly, Izuru was a genius among geniuses and possessed various talents. Wielding superior talent for the hope of mankind, the Academy referred to Izuru as the Ultimate Hope. To protect such rare talent, the Academy completely concealed all evidence of Izuru's origins and identity. Because of this, most of the students at the Academy were completely unaware of Izuru's existence. Of course, Nick. I mean, it would hate to be like, have that $10 go to waste or some shit. Oh no. But Izuru, who is known as the symbol of hope, was responsible for a horrible incident. 13 students of Hope's Peak Academy's student council, among the Academy's best and brightest, were brutally murdered by Izuru. However, the incident did not end there. The Academy tried to protect Izuru's superior talent and concealed the incident as though it never happened. However, a certain student began working in secret to use that incident to their advantage. That student uncovered what the Academy did, and by making that knowledge public, it stoked the fires of Reserve Corps students who had long been dissatisfied with how they'd been treated. And the uprising began. And that heralded Hope's Peak Academy's destruction. This is the entirety of the Tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy. Eventually, that incident would lead to that horrifying, devastating incident. The incident that would be known as the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. We're excited, Danganronpa Zero. Danganronpa Zero is the light novel that I was telling you guys about, that I think was actually referred to, or at least alluded to, by Nagito back before they went into the Class Trial 4. This has never been translated officially, it's never been released officially, but it is a light novel that basically explains the events leading up to Danganronpa, and about the closest you're going to get to it is you can find an unofficial translation, or you can watch the events of Danganronpa 3, the anime. I believe it is Despair arc deals with the student life of Hope's Peak Academy leading up to the tragedy. With a heavy sigh, I closed the manga. Am I supposed to believe this? There's no way 13 people were killed at Hope's Peak Academy. What irony! For a genius known as the Ultimate Hope to cause such a gruesome incident. A talent like that is too regal for society. It's like trying to buy juice with a bar of gold. You should be lucky that you're incompetent. He always has to lead up to something offensive. He seriously pisses me off. But Ultimate Hope. Nagito mentioned that before too, but it looks like it means something completely different here. What Nagito said was the true meaning of hope. But for Izuru, hope simply means talent. More importantly, a genius who possesses various talents. I'd wish they'd given me one of those talents so I didn't have to be in the reserve department. That's right, the reserve department. Here it said the reserve course students in the reserve department began uprising. And what about me? Was I a participant too? No, that's not possible. There's no way. I have no reason to do something like that. Alright, and that's been added. Anyway, I've learned about the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy, but the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history is a far worse incident, right? What kind of incident was it? And who's this other student that isn't Izuru? A certain student who secretly used the incident to their advantage? Who is that? This incident is really messed up, but all it's doing is raising more questions. The mysteries just keep piling up. So, think way back. You know, actually we might run into that room. There was a room in Danganronpa 1 that was covered in blood and signs of a fight, and Byakuya said he basically left it the way he found it. That was the room that the 13 student council members were massacred in. They're finally going to start actually explaining what happened at Hope's Peak Academy right now. Alright, to the biolab. Like, I didn't want to talk too much about it because I didn't want to give away spoilers for this game. But, yeah, you're going to find out a lot about the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy. Let's just say it's very relevant to this game. What the hell is with this room? It's freaking cold in here. It's like I'm in a freezer or something. If I just stand still, I might end up freezing to death. I should hurry up and investigate so I can get out of here already. Before I do that, there's your third Monokuma under the desk. Actually, a little bit difficult to see.
Found.
Hang on a second. There we go, had a cough. Book! There's another manga just lying around here. This time the title is Manga for Morons, the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. I knew it. The next one would obviously be about this incident. The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history, huh? Just what was that incident really all about? Might turn out to be something lame. I flipped through the pages of the manga and hoped that I was right. Why would I read it in here in the fucking cold? Didn't I just say I wanted to get the hell out of here? Hello, Eric. Thank you for contributing to the Fiery Flaming Feet 5 freaking minutes challenge. How are you doing tonight? A story about creepily drawn characters who get involved in such horrifying incidents. An incident known as the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. I'm gonna tell you guys, when I was setting up the goal, it told me exactly how long it would take and how many people would have to contribute the maximum. I can extend it once it runs out. 4 people would have to contribute 2,000 every day, and I would have to stream every day for that to reach the goal within 30 days. But once it hits 30 days, you can keep extending it up to another 30 days. It's just you can only set it at 30 days at a time. You'll see, or Rain will see in her own coins when she's doing it, when she's doing community points, she'll see that for herself. You can only set these challenges for 30 days at a time. An incident known as the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. Is this drawn so grotesquely because the incident itself is that grotesque? Anyway, the beginning of this creepy manga starts with this sentence. The tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy was simply the trigger. At first, the uprising by the Reserve Corps students that triggered the tragedy of Hope's Peak Academy was initially hoped to be resolved quickly, but the situation continued to escalate to dangerous extremes. The movement started spreading all over the internet and fostered a thriving online community. The community was not linked to limited to students, and people of various races and nations began joining in. But the movement was not confined to the internet and began spreading and eroding the real world. When the movement started, it was indistinguishable from any other demonstration inspired by social unrest. But as it spread across the world, certain abnormalities soon came to light. By then it was too late. The ends and the means had vanished, and wanton destruction became their only goal. The strong butchered the weak killed the weakest among them, and soon the weak formed factions to brutally murder the strong. As the violence and death continued to spread, the shock of their actions began to disappear. As if the era was regressing to more uncivilized times, where senseless deaths were the norm. I used to have a list, but that's a hard sentence to read. Let me try a drink, maybe that'll help. The media was oversaturated with deaths to the point where people would watch them while enjoying a meal. By the time the world realized what it had become, it was too late to stop what had happened. A feeling of immense despair began spreading and eventually engulfed the world. Acts of terrorism and coup d'etat began occurring around the world, a war waged in the name of despair. A war fought not for principles, religion, or personal gain, just war. War never changes. Pure war. And because of that, there is no way to resolve it. How could a movement started by high school students progress to such a hopeless scenario? The only explanation is the existence of a certain organization, devoted to a certain student who influenced Hope Speak Academy, a group called Ultimate Despair. Instead of using Hope Speak Academy's talent for the sake of mankind's hope, they used them for the sake of mankind's despair. Key members of society used their influence to brainwash the masses in order to spread despair. Tech-savvy computer programmers wrote software to spread despair. The powerful and influential created new values and morals to spread despair. And with this, they created the tragedy, the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. As long as ultimate despair exists, the despair engulfing the world will never end. The tragedy will never end. My heart was racing in my chest, but my body felt ice cold. And it wasn't because I was freezing in this room. The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. This is definitely all made up. I mean, if this is really true, then what's happening in the outside world? My family, my friends, the convenience store I frequent, the nearby bookstore, my favorite restaurant. What's happened to them?
No way!
Hey, are you seriously yelling at a manga? How crazy are you? Who would enjoy reading something like this?
What?
Oh my, you don't like manga? A high school student who doesn't like manga is like an office lady who doesn't like to eat candy. Enough, what is with this messed up manga? I thought you'd obviously know about such a horrible event that destroyed the world, but for you to not remember that, such despair. That's the Future Foundation's fault though, thanks to them stealing your school memories. The incident that happened during that period has been completely removed from your brains. This incident really happened, and I actually forgot about it? There's no way that's possible.
What are you saying?
How many times do I have to tell you? All the clues here are real.
Hello.
Please understand, I'm rooting for you. If you don't learn about the full extent of the outside world, you guys will suffer for it. I just want to help you guys, so you can live well-adjusted lives in the outside world. I see, so that's how it is. That's what he means by what he said at the beginning. And that's blah blah blah. Worried, outside world, decision, leave, stay. He's trying to make us feel despair toward the outside world, so we'll want to stay on this island. But there's no way I'm going to do what he wants. Despair like that simply can't exist. The outside world should be filled with hope. Just like now. Perhaps. No, that's definitely it. The tragedy. Whether or not this incident really happened, what in the world is this ultimate despair group? If they're devoted to a certain student who guided Hope Speak Academy to its destruction, are they connected to both the tragedy and the tragedy of Hope Speak Academy? Plus, that organization isn't just one person, but a group of people. But if they're known as Ultimate Despair, they're still high school students, right? Well, if they were actually able to do it, then I guess that's why they're called Ultimates. And are the killings we're involved in connected to them as well? It's no use, I'm gonna freeze to death! I'm at my limit, I need to get out of here. Shivering, I ran out of the freezing room. Oh, that was close. I nearly froze to death. So where should I go next? I believe there is a classroom that should be open up now. 5B, either 5A or 5B, whatever. They were next to each other. The second classroom should be open. Yep, and it is. No, I should ignore it. I'm just gonna pretend I didn't see him. Hi, Fuyuhiko! How are you? Yes, 999 did have the frozen room they got stuck in. You're right.
Jeez.
When I went inside this room, that bastard bear was suddenly here. He keeps glancing at me. I wonder why. It's gonna be shitty either way.
Damn right.
So I'll let you handle it. There's no way I'm gonna deal with that idiot. I don't want to do that either. Alright, what do you want, Monokuma?
Hiya.
Why, hello, Hajime. I hope you're doing pleasingly well. Are you pleasingly well? You're pleasingly well, right? What are you doing here?
No, no.
Well, there was another thing I needed to tell you on this floor. I got bored of drawing manga. Can you forgive me for telling you by word of mouth? You should have done that from the beginning. I didn't want to read your manga in the first place. A high school student who doesn't like manga is like a sumo wrestler who doesn't like eating hot pot. Sumo wrestlers, I don't know if you guys know, to gain weight, eat a particular type of hot pot. I'm getting really fed up with your babbling. Hurry up, what did you need to tell me? It's about that key piece of information you've been waiting so long for.
What?
Surprise! It's about ultimate despair. Huh? Even though the ultimate despair refers to a group these days,
Actually,
it was originally the title for a high school girl who was the most powerful, evil, and feared person alive. A high school girl?
yes, indeed.
Lady Junko Enoshima! Junko Enoshima?
Hey,
As the former ultimate despair, she created a despair brimming with charm and humor, and created the ultimate despairs. There was one really horrible person in that group.
Don't fuck with me.
Hold on a sec. I don't know what the ultimate despairs are, but it's not that easy to form an organization. There's no way people would join some fucked up organization created by a high school girl.
Unbelievable.
Maybe she had an OnlyFans? Humans who are obsessed with their philosophy have an uncanny power to attract others. It's a trait shared by many famous leaders throughout history, right? There's nothing strange about it.
Hey,
That holds true for Lady Junko. With her charismatic ability to attract people, she even influenced those in the highest echelons of power.
Phew.
Her connections were the main reason that incident became the tragedy in the first place. So she even recruited people who would have been in a position to neutralize the threat?
Huh?
Then what was her purpose?
Huh?
What? Like I said, why did they cause that incident? It doesn't even make sense. They had a purpose, right? There's no way they do what they did without any purpose.
Hey,
It was Junko Enoshima's despair. Huh? For Junko Enoshima, despair isn't about purpose, a set of principles, a way of life, or an instinct. Despair is what defines Junko Enoshima as Junko Enoshima. What are you saying? I'm a stuffed plushie. Hajime is a human. It's exactly like that. Junko Enoshima is full of so much despair that she's truly hopeless. Living, dying, eating, loving. For her, everything is despair. What the hell? With her overwhelming force of personality, Junko recruited the ultimate despairs one by one. She controlled their despair by taking advantage of their love, hate, grudges, anything really. Junko's despair is far more dreadful than any other. That idea had been slammed right into their minds. And so, the ultimate despairs who had been recruited became nothing more than Junko's limbs. All despair. All despair, whether it was their own or anyone else's, was dedicated to Junko Enoshima. Like believers making offerings to their god. Like a mother providing food to her children. They dedicated all despair so they could escape from despair, all in Junko Inishima's name. For example,
Phew!
they killed their family and friends, and even destroyed their bodies through relentless mutilation. And to hopelessly top it off, they completely believed it was something that they had to do. There's no way something that crazy is possible.
What?
Do you know about the final days of the Reserve Corps students during the tragedy of Hope Speak Academy? Final days?
In other words,
Junko has the power to change people's values. This is also true of famous people throughout history. And what do you mean final days? What happened to the Reserve Department?
of course.
They fulfilled their role of disposable limbs. They believed in what they needed to do. And so, the 2,357 students of the Reserve Department all committed mass suicide. Mass suicide.
What'd you say?
All 2,357 students? Oops, it wasn't all of them. One person was excluded. One person was excluded, huh? Is that me?
Damn it.
I don't believe it. There's no way I can believe this. Ultimate despair? Junko Inishima? It doesn't scare me at all. I mean,
Bastard!
Junko Inishima is already dead. Huh? Ultimate despair has been added to the Truth Bullet section of your handbook, as has Reserve Department's been updated. Alright, how did you know they were already dead? Also, I've got to sneeze. There we go. Hey, Fuyuhiko, is it true what you said? Junko Inishima is already dead?
Huh?
What, you didn't see? There's a book called Manga for Morons Killing School Life in that bloody classroom. A bloody classroom? No wait, what was that you said about the killing school life? Like the killings we were involved in, they were killings that happened at Hope Speak Academy. As I recall, the mastermind took her own life because the remaining students worked together to defeat her.
Well, yeah.
That's what it was. The killing school life ended up failing in the end. As a result, the 6 students who survived managed to escape from the academy.
Hey,
For a manga about the killing school life, it was drawn with a lot of silly images and dumb gags. According to that, the mastermind behind the failed killing school life was Junko Inishima. The mastermind took her own life, which means Junko Inishima is dead.
like,
It turns out the killing school life was part of that biggest, most awful whatever incident. Junko took away the memories of former students of Hope Speak Academy and forced them to kill each other. Former students of Hope Speak Academy, and she took away their memories? That's just like us. Apparently, the whole thing was being filmed by surveillance cameras and broadcast worldwide. Again, that's just like us. There's a limit to being a cruel asshole. No, there's not. You know there's not. The surveillance cameras were broadcasting the whole thing?
so.
The students of Hope Speak Academy were widely known as symbols of hope. By forcing people to watch these symbols of hope kill each other for the sake of survival, they were trying to fill everyone who watched the broadcast with despair all at once. That's messed up.
Huh.
But that messed up plan was stopped. Junko Inishima failed. Junko lost to the students she placed in her trap, and after being overcome by the despair she created, she took her own life. Then Junko is no more. No matter how horrible she was, there's no reason to fish someone who's dead. Whether Monokuma's story is true or not, doesn't matter.
Bastard!
Junko Inishima isn't alive anymore. Then, who is our enemy? If Junko Inishima is already dead, are the rest of the Ultimate Despairs behind this? Are the followers of Junko carrying out her will? That's the only thing I can think of. I mean, the killings we're involved in resemble that killing school life. Well, I don't know who the hell is imitating Junko and making us go through this, but an imitation is just that, an imitation.
No shit.
If the students from Hope Speak Academy stop the real deal, there's no way we'll lose to some fake. But if this is really an imitation, are those surveillance cameras the same too? The cameras all over Jabberwock Island? Are they broadcasting to somewhere just like the surveillance cameras during the Killing School Life? Killing School Life has been added. Junko's been updated. Man, Hajime, you totally know about that story, huh? What, do you have a problem with that? Well, I really wanted you to read the manga version since I took the time to draw it.
What are you gonna do?
Oh, well, I'll just raise the flag. Flag? What do you mean raise the flag? What's gonna happen if you do that?
Ooh, how exciting.
One step at a time. You're getting closer to clearing my character route. You're not making sense again.
Well now.
Now then, I'll give you guys my all. I'll tell you everything I know, including information on the outside and the inside.
Yeah!
I'll raise the flags like crazy. Okay, I'm out. I'm done. I'm gone. We're done with this room. Fuck this room. Never going back to the old building, 4th floor. Huh? It changed to a different hallway again. It's so sudden. What's going on to make something like this happen? No, I've already decided that I'm not going to be surprised. That's right. There's no time for me to be surprised by something like this. But there is time to call it an episode for YouTube here, so that's exactly what we're gonna do. YouTube, you get to find out more about this shit tomorrow! Twitch will keep on in a second. YouTube, thank you so much for coming out and joining me today. As always, I appreciate it. If you enjoyed what you saw, let me know. Give me likes and comments. Remember to subscribe. And you guys have a great day.